What's quack-a-lacking, guys? I'm that Quack here, and this is going to be a follow-up video to February's Player of the Month award. Now, most teams have finished for the month now. We do have a couple of games left tomorrow and on Monday, but for the majority of it, it's over. And this gives us a good chance to have a look at the month and evaluate who really deserves this award. Now, there's 4 players I'm going to mention on this shortlist. It might be someone completely different, but this is just going to be based on my opinion and what they've done. We're going to have a little look at their month, what they've achieved, why they deserve it, and then list off the reasons why they potentially might not win it as well. So we're going to start in reverse order, starting with the 4th most likely, leading up to the most likely, in my opinion. So in 4th place, and the first player we're going to look at, it's going to be Gabriel Jesus, Manchester City's new superstar striker signing. Now this month, he's played 2 games and started the 3rd going off injured within about 10 minutes. So we're only going to look at the 2 games he actually played for the 90 minutes here. In those games, Manchester City played against West Ham, where they won 4-0, and then Swansea, where they won 2-1. Between the games, Jesus scored 3, had 1 assist, and achieved a Man of the Match award. Now, we're also going to look at WhoScored.com to get a rating for these players. In the first match, he received an 8.4, and in the second, an 8.3, giving him an average of an 8.35 overall. These stats are fantastic for a striker, especially someone new to the Premier League. What I feel is going against him, though, is only having played 2 full games. And with other strikers a little bit more prolific, he may lose out based on this. Now into 3rd place, and as you can see, we've got Sadio Mané. Now, Sadio Mané's played 2 games for Liverpool this month, and they've still got a 3rd coming up against Leicester on Monday. His chances will revolve simply on how well he performs in this game, how many he scores, how many assists he gets, just how he plays in general, really. So from the 2 games he's played this month, Liverpool played Hull in the first game where they lost 2-0 and Mané didn't really do a lot. In the second game, however, we played title contenders Tottenham Hotspur. In this game, he scored 2 goals and was man of the match. Now if we refer back to the ratings on WhoScored.com, he received a 6.8 against Hull and an 8.5 against Tottenham. So on average, he's only a 7.7 rating. But the reason he's in my selections is because a big game against Leicester on Monday could put him as a front runner. So we move on to the player I've put into 2nd place. And this is where 99% of people will disagree with me. Lukaku has had a very strange month. He's had 2 matches where he's done absolutely nothing, but then he's had 2 absolutely fantastic games. So from these matches, Everton have played 4, obviously. Their first game was against Stoke, and it was a 1-1 draw. Lukaku didn't score, didn't assist, and was basically invisible. Their second game was against Bournemouth. Now, this was a huge 6-3 win for Everton. Lukaku scored 4 goals and was man of the match. This is where everybody started talking about him. The third game was against Middlesbrough, and yet again, another 0-0 draw, and Lukaku was invisible. Now, their final game was today, and they played against Sunderland. Lukaku scored in this game and they went on to win 2-0. So throughout the month, Everton are unbeaten with 2 wins and 2 draws, which are fantastic performances. If we also move on to have a little look at Lukaku's ratings, he received a 6.6 in the first game, a perfect 10 against Bournemouth, a 6.3 against Middlesbrough, and an 8.2 today against Sunderland. This gives him an average rating of 7.8. Overall, that's not incredible, but the 2 games where he showed up, he was so prolific and so strong that he is definitely a front runner for this. If we're thinking about investing in him for a Player of the Month award, we want to be looking at Everton players, obviously, Belgian players, potentially including informs again. We want to be looking at his previous club, Anderlecht. He's also been at Chelsea, and he's also been loaned out to West Brom. So we want to be looking at all of these clubs, having a think about what the teams could be, what the requirements could be, and then investing in this potential Player of the Month award if we believe he is going to be the winner. So we finally move into my 1st place prediction. And personally, I believe that Gareth McAuley deserves this award hands down. Firstly, he's a 37-year-old defender, a centre-back for West Brom. In this month, West Brom have played 3 times. They played against Stoke, where they won 1-0, and he kept a clean sheet. The second game was against West Ham. It was a 2-2 draw, but McAuley scored in this game. And in the third game, which was played today against Bournemouth, it was another 2-1 win, and he scored again. The winning goal, actually. So from 3 games, he has only clipped 1 clean sheet, but he has scored 2 goals of huge significance as a centre-back. Now, if we have a little look at the ratings he's received from Who Scored, he got a 7.8 in the first game, 8.1 in the second, and 7.9 in the third. Overall, this makes him massively consistent and gives him just under an average rating of 8 for the month, one of the highest overall. Now, coming up against Lukaku, it is going to be a tough competition, but the fact that Lukaku was invisible for half of the matches, and this guy was constantly present and constantly consistent, scoring 2 goals out of 3 games as a centre-back, without without losing any games for the month, I believe that he is a huge runner. My opinion, he's the front runner for the tournament. Now, if we look at possible investments for him, you've obviously got West Brom, you've obviously got Northern Ireland, you've got Leicester City, who he used to play for, Ipswich Town, Lincoln City, loads of different clubs, but they're going to be the main ones. Now, the benefit to investing in him is you can pick these West Brom and Northern Ireland players up at discard. If he doesn't win, you're not going to lose anything. You can just discard these. Whereas if you invest heavily into players for Lukaku, you're going to make a huge loss if he loses. You can invest in both players this way as well. That's another reason I love this choice. You can pick up the discards that you're going to get your money back on and invest in the players you feel like are going to be beneficial if Lukaku wins. But based on the month as a whole, and every game counting, McAuley for me is definitely the front runner as it stands.